So, welcome everyone. I'm really excited for today's conversation. This is Revenue Uncapped, where we dig into real decisions and systems that keep growth compounding. For those of you just joining the podcast, we are Tyrion Labs and we specialize in helping agencies scale revenue with leaner, more repeatable growth systems. So if you run an agency and you want to take your growth to the next level, stick around. And if you want a free growth consultation, just DM the word growth in the comments. So today we are joined by Linda Bloom, who alongside Charlie Bloom has been working with individuals, couples, groups, and organizations on relationships and communication since the mid 1970s. And you built Bloomwork into a multi-decade platform spanning workshops, counseling, books, and long-running publishing. What stood out to me is how consistently you've grown through service, trust, content, rather than just hype. So, Linda, very excited to have you on today. Can you share with us a little bit about your story and what made you start Bloomwork?
I'm delighted to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me, and I'm so happy to tell my story. Back in the 80s, my husband was a corporate guy, and we had 3 little kids at the time. And the corporation demanded so much of its employees that he was working on average 80 hours a week. It's not good for family life to work that much when your kids are small. I really had a strong plea to him: quit that job. It's not good for family life. But he loved his job, and it took him a long time to get complete. He worked there 5 years. It was very stressful. When he finally made up his mind to leave the job was the week before he turned 40. Midlife crisis, right on schedule. We hadn't any plan in place for what else we were going to do. But I was so overjoyed that he finally let go. Left. And fortunately, we had connections. From the time that he was with the corporation, we had written a course for them. And so we told people that he knew all over the country, we have this beautiful course. Would you like us to come to your city and teach it? And they said yes. So we started taking our show on the road, and we went to Washington, D.C., and Boston, and New York, and L.A., and San Francisco, and Salt Lake City, and Denver, Iowa City, Iowa, and Honolulu. And people loved
Wow.
the course. So it was a word of mouth, telling people, Blooms had this beautiful course. I think you'd really like it. So that's when we started to build our email list. And we were in charge of our own schedule and building our own dream, not somebody else.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's very, very inspirational. And I can totally relate to the 80-hour week working schedule and the young family and how that is, you're missing time. Doesn't really matter how much money you do make, right? So I guess who are like these people that work with you? Like, what do they specifically come to you for help? Like, what sort of problems do they approach you that need your help with?
Well, everybody wants to be happy.
Mm,
And people sense that a very large portion of their happiness is going to come from their closest relationships.
mm,
So if you have a lover, partner, spouse, and your communication is not of the highest caliber, it's going to keep how happy you can be in the relationship, how much you can thrive, how much you can grow in the relationship at a lower level. And when we would describe what we called it at that time as Partners in Commitment, that title changed over time, and now that course is Secrets of Great Relationships. But one of the cornerstones, one of the great secrets of wonderful relationships is commitment. And that was prominent in our mind at the time we wrote the course. And so we emphasize that. Of course, there are other habits besides practicing commitment regularly, like intentionality, like empathy, like
mm.
compassion, like resilience, courage. All of these qualities that give rise to good relationships and give rise to good communication, we featured in the course for people to zero in on what their personal work was.
Beautiful. And how do you see communication nowadays, especially with technology in everyone's lives, right? How do you see this day and age's relationship, like couples, sort of communication being hampered? Because I've seen myself
Yes.
a lot of people that go out to, like, let's say dinners, like the dinner table, everyone's on their phones. Communication isn't the same as what it used to be, right? What would like how do you see that affecting people today?
Dangerous to overuse the tech devices. Some people spend hours every day, not just in the workplace on their
Hmm.
computers and their tablets and their phones, but then in their private life, they're still on their tech devices. And
Hmm.
I'm very worried about it. I'm very concerned about it. I'm especially concerned that the kids who are glued to their phones. Do you know? I really encourage people to get up close and personal, face to face, and
Hmm.
relate and practice their good communication skills and let the technology work for us, but not to be predominant.
It's great. Yeah. Totally agree there. I've kids myself, and honestly, sometimes you feel that the technology, the iPad, is the easy way out, but I know that it's not doing them any good. So, and that's only gonna really harm them in future, right? It just means that they're unable to like communicate as well because so you lose that sort of face to face communication. People just don't connect, and it's not great for especially this day and age. But yeah, totally agree. We should always use technology with us and not use it in a way that's going to harm us in the very future.
You
Awesome.
use the word connection,
Hmm.
and our courses that we teach and the counseling that we do and the books that we write and the blogs, it's all about connection, about meaningful connection, about
Hmm.
communication that's not superficial. How about that ball team and the weather? About things that have heart and meaning, feelings. Do you know what
Hmm.
really has importance to us? And I think it's sometimes people find it a little vulnerable, they're a little bashful, they're a little shy about talking about their deepest feelings, what
Hmm.
has most importance to them, what their needs are, their need for connection, their need
Hmm.
to feel that somebody cares for them. Do you know?
Hmm.
And I think it's important to put the devices away
Hmm.
periodically, regularly, on a daily basis to
Hmm.
have meaningful connection about meaningful topics. Even if you feel a little uneasy, it's like any
Hmm.
skill. The more you practice, the better you get. So if you
Yeah.
start relating in a feeling way, in an authentic way, really being real with each other, and sometimes people want that too, they're a little shy about doing it. If we take lead and we start speaking in that way, it invites them to come out of hiding
Hmm.
and be more open with us.
That's so powerful. I guess what would be one big tip that you could give everybody today to anyone who can implement today to build a better connection and communicate better in their relationships?
Risk. Get out there on
Risk.
the skinny branches. Take some chances. Do you know?
Yeah.
Reveal yourself. When we open up our classes, when we teach at Esalen and Kropalu, the first thing that we tell our students is reveal rather than conceal, express rather than repress. Open up. Don't play it
Wow.
so close to the vest. Get out there on that edge, the growing edge. You know, when people speak that way, they're never boring. When they got out on those skinny branches, you're alive, you're paying attention, you're showing up.
I love that. I love that. And I know you mentioned earlier before the show that you have a live in person workshop coming up. Can you tell everyone a little bit about what that's going to entail and how do we sort of sign up to that or check it out?
We teach most often at Esalen Institute, which is in Big Sur, California, mid-coast.
Mhm.
But we also teach at Kripalu, and Kripalu is in the Berkshire Mountains of Massachusetts.
Mm.
The Esalen course is full, but I always tell people if they feel attracted to come to the Esalen course, which is on Valentine's weekend, sign up and get on the wait list because there's a lot of coming and going. Maybe their number would come up. But Kripalu is much larger. They can put up 600 people at their facility. So we have plenty of room in that workshop, and that's the weekend after Valentine's Day. At Esalen Institute, we're teaching Love, Sex, and Intimacy. And the weekend afterward in February, we're teaching Secrets of Great Relationships. Those are our two most popular courses. Usually people come coupled up. They don't have to come with a partner. If only half of the pair wants to come, they're welcome. If they're single and they're just, collecting information about relationship in general, romantic partnership in particular, they're welcome to come as a single, and they're welcome to do all the exercises. Everybody gets to do experiential learning in our workshops. And if you don't come with somebody, you will always have someone to do the exercise.
Awesome. How do we find out about this? Do you have a website that everyone can register for?
Yes, on our website, which is Bloomwork, Bloomwork, not Bloomworks. That takes you to a plant nursery. It's singular. Bloomwork.com. And the Esalen course and the Kripalu course are on there, and it's one click
Awesome.
away to register. And if they don't remember Bloomwork, they could go to Esalen or they could go to Kripalu and go directly and sign up that way.
Awesome. Awesome. Definitely everybody go ahead and check that out. And I believe you also have a blog that you want everyone to sort of explore as well. Is
Yes,
that
we've
correct?
been bloggers for many years. It's a good way to
Mm.
build us to get visibility. We used to blog for Psychology Today. We got more than 10 million hits on our blog.
Wow.
Now we blog for Substack, and people seem to be, digging on our blogs there too. And we have new people coming to our network every month. We have lots and lots of people because there's this grassroots people saying, "Oh, have you read Linda Bloom and Charlie Bloom's blogs?" They'll give you a hit of inspiration to keep you buoyed up, to keep enhancing your relationships. Every week I get this golden piece of information, and we keep them short because we know everybody's so busy. They're all about 800 words, so you can read them. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes of your time.
Wow, that's amazing. So content is key, right? And you mentioned that you built the email following from your course graduates. You sent a newsletter monthly for years. You stacked in books and blogging, including Psychology Today, readership in the millions. If you had to explain your content engine as a simple flywheel, what are the 3 to 4 steps? And where do most founders break the loop?
Well, I think it's important to give away, to really have
Mm.
a service orientation. So we have been very careful over the years to not come with a handful of gimme. Come be my counseling client, come be my students. We have emphasized the value of what we give. So we've given lots of free stuff on our,
Mhm.
website. We've got free ebooks. They're 10 chapters each. They're not even tiny little books. They're substantive. We give away the ebooks on our website. The newsletter that we did for years, every single month, was also very valuable. And the blogs that we give away are valuable. So I see that that's key to have a service orientation. And it came back many, many fold on us by our email list growing, about people coming to our classes and then telling their relatives and their friends about our classes, and sending their relatives and their friends to do counseling with us and to buy our books. We have 6 books out there, and we're 2 more this year because I'm writing one that's almost finished, probably will be up for sale in February, March. It's a memoir called We've Come So Far, giving the details about how we came so far as a couple. And Charlie and I are writing together author, Habits of Happy Couples, about what characterizes the blue ribbon couples that have exemplary relationships.
Wow. That's amazing. Congratulations on the book. I'm looking forward to checking that out myself. So, a lot of founders want authority, and you're really big on giving out a lot of, free content, ebooks, and a lot of information. But these founders want a lot of authority, but they always chase the polished instead of trusted. You said people trust you because you're willing to be vulnerable and keep a personal touch. Can you share one of your clients' biggest transformations after working with you and how you've actually helped them?
Yes, we tell our before and after stories. Do you know? We don't have reticence or shyness about telling our students and our readership and our clients some of the really dark places that we've gone to.
Mm.
My husband Charlie thinks we need to get the trophy for the most improved because we did not luck into this dazzling, radiant relationship that we have been enjoying in recent decades. We had some rough times back in the 80s when he was a workaholic and I was codependent to his work addiction. We almost way of the separation and divorce statistics. We loved each other, but we didn't have the skills, we didn't have the qualities that we needed to have
Mm.
a solid long-term relationship. It was a pretty close call with us. And so we tell toy, tales on ourselves about the things that were really problematic at that time. How many arguments we had, what hot we were, how reactive we were, how lacking in generosity of spirit we were, how unforgiving we could be, how manipulative we could be. And it seems to inspire our students to tell those dark stories. They think they were really screwed up. If they're this happy, we can do at least that well.
That's so authentic. And as a marketer myself, I know authenticity is how you build connection with your audience. And the more vulnerable, the more you can share, people connect with that. And it's so, so valuable. Congratulations on that. That's amazing.
Thank you. I have a little echo. I find it distracting. Is there any way I can get rid of it?
Yes. Let's see. Maybe it's my mic. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear that better?
Better.
Ma-
Yeah, it's better.
yeah. Give me a second. My microphone should be this one. Okay. Is that better? Maybe I'm
I
too
think
close
it is
to.
better.
You sure? Maybe I
Yeah.
should take off the earphones. Might help. Is it okay? Sure.
Uh-huh.
All right. Awesome. Good. All right. Let's see. What's my next question?
We were speaking about authenticity when I interrupted.
Yeah. All good. Yeah. You've emphasized commitment to service, teaching love as a priority over just making money as a core reason the business stays strong. Practically, what does that look like as operating principles? Like, what do you refuse to do, even if it would mean that you make more money faster?
That's a beautiful question because I think sometimes people don't have their priorities straight and they make the decisions sometimes on what they think is going to bring them the greatest return monetarily. But that may not be the most high integrity decision. So, for instance, I mentioned that we always attempted to give with our newsletters and blogs rather than show up to the people who would get our emails and say, what do they want? Do you know? They would be, we had still do, have a terrific open rate because people are glad to hear from us. And so that would be one way that you could demonstrate I genuinely care about you and your well being. I am in your life because I want to be of service to you and to lead with that. And to be willing to be embarrassed when I'm teaching by telling these dark stories on ourselves is another way that we reassure people we don't set ourselves up as some high and mighty, experts talking down to anybody. It's all we. There's no us and them. there's only us, and that we're all doing our best to be loving people, to be contributing people, to learn as we go, and that some of us have learning deficits. No blame on our family of origin. They gave us the best they could. They didn't get it from their family. So we have a responsibility to try to learn how to fill in those holes, those gaps, and to really evolve into the best that we can be. And generosity of spirit is one of the finer qualities. And if we can lead with that, people feel it and they trust us and they want to be with us because they know that we're the genuine.
Wow, totally agree there. Totally agree. So you began teaching at Seven 1995 and Kapraulu, what, 2005, and kept those relationships going for decades. What's the playbook for earning opportunities like that and then sustaining them year after year without actually burning out or stagnation? What's the secret behind?
The word stagnation is an important one. And I think that people hit a plateau and they kind of lose interest and it's too difficult and it's too taxing and it's taking too much out of me. And I always implore people to choose that work that really means something to them. This work really meant a lot to me because I viscerally understood how people who fall in love and want to have a long-term, lifelong partnership and bring the children up in an intact family, how painful that is to see that dream drifting away and to leave no stones unturned, to really do everything in your power to grow yourself into someone who's so wise that you could put the corrections in. Now, you need to have cooperation from your partner to do it. You need to be such an inspirational invitation to them that it draws them in. It was a close call for us, but I did have that level of commitment that was contagious to my husband and drew him in. And so we tell the people in our classes, if you are the one who can see it clearly, what your relationship is going to need to up level and to thrive at a higher level, to grow, be luscious, do that. Don't allow it to stagnate. Don't allow your business to stagnate. Don't allow your relationship to stagnate. Keep being creative. If you have people that work with you in your business to be co-creative with, toss those ideas like confetti and see what you can co-create in your personal relationship, in your social life, in your closest friendships. Be creative there too. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect to stay vital over the decades. I've been in business most of 40 years. I'm looking at my 80th birthday. My next birthday, I don't want to retire because my business is still so alive. Do you know, I still feel like I'm trying new things and doing new things and meeting new people and having new ideas for blogs and having new ideas for books. And there is no stagnation here. But I want to warn the people who are earlier in their business adventures, pick something that's really alive for you. If you don't know what really makes you happy and what your special gift is, look to your wound because you may have had to pay so much attention to healing that wound. It may have clues for what is going to be alive for you over the long haul. And don't be such a bliss ninny that you think you're not going to hit some hard times because everybody's going to hit some. You'll hit the boredom, you hit the frustration, or you hear this is too hard, or I don't have enough help. Whatever it is, that you keep coming back to your mission. This is my mission. This is my unique gift to give, and I'm not quitting.
I love
And
that.
find a
I love
way,
that. That is
find a
so,
way
so powerful.
to break through. Let that breakdown be a breakthrough.
I love that. There's a line that I love. It's called, you can't quit. You can't lose if you don't quit. Right. And that's exactly what you've been doing. You know, you've in your relationship, One person has been holding the vision for the both of you, and it's up to the both of you to actually stay aligned, correct each other, and just work towards that vision no matter how hard it gets. And that's such an important lesson that everyone today can take away. Just have a super clear vision on what you need, what you want from the business, the life, the relationship, whatever it may be. Have that vision, hold it high, hold it strong, and just put in the work.
That's it, putting the 10,000 hours. People want it to be easy. They want it just to happen. And I think it's a myth. If you're going to be successful, no matter whether it's in business, if it's athletics, if it's creative expression, music, no matter what the domain, and personal relationships, you just have to put in, the effort.
That's right. That's where the real growth happens, right?
That's it.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that powerful lesson that myself will be taking away from today's conversation. So I guess you've been operating for 40 years, right? Maybe more. Guess what's next? What is next for Bloomwork in the next 6 to 12 months? What are you shooting for?
Well, I'm working smarter. I have terrific help in my business. I always recommend get the right people on the bus, do you know? And so I'm turning over so much responsibility to my office manager because she's so capable. She's practically running the business without me. So I get to do what I love. I love to counsel people. I love to counsel couples. I love to teach, and I love to write the blogs and the books. So I am going to, in the next year, publish these two new books. I'm not sure for sure whether there's going to be books after these two, maybe. But what I'm committed to is having more fun, more social life, being in nature, being at the gym, dancing more, and having my work and life balance heavy on the fun. I still want to keep working, but I want to keep it in its place. So I'm semi-retired working half time, and that feels right to me. And I just want to do the parts of the business that I love and delegate the rest of it to somebody else to handle. I feel like I've earned the right to do that at this age.
You absolutely have. Absolutely have. You've been an inspiration for me and I guess for our listeners as well. I guess if you had that magic wand in your business that you could possibly, help one problem that's probably holding you back or slowing you down from reaching your goals in that next 6 to 12 months, what would that be?
I think what I'm most passionate about at this moment in my life is I want to get the books that I put a tremendous amount of time and energy and life force into to get into the hands of more readers because I have so much confidence in my message. The message that my husband and I have learned, and we have had wonderful teachers that we have gleaned wisdom from them and distilled it down to essence to make it friendly in the blogs and the books that we write. One, it's my deepest heart's desire to save people some trouble. We got so much help from wise people when we were in trouble, and they gave us practical guidance, and I want to pay that forward. So my deep desire is to get my books into the hands of people who will utilize what is in there and inspire them to do the work to grow a fabulous relationship. That's where I think you get the biggest bang for your happiness. Do you know? It's from your closest relationship. Not that our career success doesn't bring us a lot of happiness too, but I'm convinced that it comes from the closest relationships. And if we put a lot of time and effort there, it is going to spill over into success in our business ventures.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is amazing. And obviously, one line that really hit hard, and you brought it up already, let your wound become your gift to your community. How do you translate something painful into an offering that serves others without centering the business on drama? Like, what's the healthy way to do that?
Taking responsibility. You may feel like a victim. You may feel like people did you dirt, people broke their agreements, and if you can see the part that you played. It's not so neat. It says it's 50-50. If you feel that you've been injured or disappointed, there's probably truth there, but you can't change them. You can only change yourself. So to take responsibility for the part that you have played in that breakdown, to take responsibility for the way in which you feel wounded, disappointed, violated. Maybe your boundaries were intruded upon. But that's where the power is, when you see this is what I have to learn from this situation. It's a great rule of thumb. Whenever there's difficulty, to say, do I have a part to play? What's my part? What am I supposed to be learning here? Because I believe that life gives us the lesson. We can resist them, we can put them away, we can turn our back on them, we can be in denial, we can blame other people for it, or we can say, what am I supposed to be learning here? If this is a memo from the University of Life telling me this is a place where I need to heal and grow, I better pay attention.
Absolutely. I'm so in line with that quote. Take full responsibility, because at the end of the day, it's only you can change what's next, right? Every decision, every action shapes your next move. So I totally agree. Awesome.
And taking full responsibility doesn't mean it's completely up to me. Taking responsibility may be getting the proper supports that you need.